Hello everyone, my name is Isujin and I'm leading 압타바이오. Thank you very much for your invitation. It is very nice to meet you all. Today I'm going to talk about what technologies 압타바이오 has, what pipelines are being developed, what progress we're making at the moment. So 압타바이오 is a company that is going to resolve high unmet needs, which are diabetic complications and side effects, and also rare anti-cancer treatments as well. And we are a new drug development based company, first-in-class innovation with platform technologies. We have oxidative stress modulation, cancer-associated fibroblast modulation, optimal drug conjugate as well. We are going to utilize open innovation to come up with first-in-class drugs and medicine. 압타바이오 was established back in 2019, and upon the establishment, we have been expanding our pipelines and technologies as well. As a result, we achieved 3 different transfers and was listed on Kosdaq in 2019. And in Europe and the US, we are now going through and expanding clinical trials and global partners, and we further expanded global clinical phases. And currently, we are done with 5 clinical cases, and we're doing 2 non-clinical studies as well. So based on this expedited process, we are now working on 2 global licensing out agreements. So as I mentioned earlier, 압타바이오 is working with specialists and professionals and CRO companies. We have a site in the US, Europe, Australia, Japan, and other locations. And we're working with Newcastle University, Delaware University, and other renowned experts and research institutes as well. And what we own in pipeline is 12 different pipelines in total. We are focusing on diabetic nephropathy and oncology as well. And among the 12 pipelines, more than 4 are going through either clinical phase or are done with clinical phase 1. And currently, a new AML MDS pipeline is going to go through initial clinical phase 1 or 2. And I believe that what you're most curious about today is a product with the most amount of progress that we have achieved with. So at this very occasion, I would like to share with you our great clinical results with the audience today. And for COVID-19 ongoing phase 2 and phase 1 is going to be shared with you too. Before going into individual pipelines, I would like to briefly talk about our platform, what mechanism we have and what inhibitor we have. So first, it is a platform that adjusts the first-in-class diabetic complication mechanisms with controlling the oxidative stress via NOx inhibitor. There are many different stressors such as viruses or excessive exercise, cancer, high blood pressure, and hypertension. And these NOx series are affecting different multi-organs to cause inflammation or texturalization or cell death or cell increase, and this results in diabetic complications such as diabetes retinopathy or diabetic foot ulcer and other diseases as well. And I believe that the most problematic topic in immuno-oncology is, of course, oxidative stress. This is one of the most important factors that cause oncology. So our products and medicine is targeting NOx so that we can adjust NOx level, and we are capable of detecting NOx adjustment mechanisms. So now I'm going to move on to APTA-DC. Of course, this is the first in the world technology. And the benefit of APTA-DC technology is to treat rare oncology. We can create host structure for cancer, and I believe that there's an opportunity in the big market for good cancer cell selectivity and good anti-cancer effects through dual mode of action. And we also can create a structure for dual targeting. So as a result, without a linker, you can directly add this to the payload of the existing structure, and the APTA-DC that's loaded will selectively kill cancer cells. And when this goes into the cancer, by the anti-cancer impact, cancer cells are going to die as a result, and the primary treatment can be delivered to cancer cells without any deterrence or resistance. So this can overcome the existing problem of resistance to existing anti-cancer drugs. So, and when it comes to handling and resolving the existing problems of oncology medicine, APTA-DC can successfully handle the issue and avoid resistance. So as I mentioned earlier, we are already doing clinical phase 1 and 2 with APX115, and let me talk about the pipeline more specifically. So for clinical 2 diabetic nephropathy treatment called APX115, this is also called isuzinaxib, and I believe that the main targets and the market are diabetic patients who are going through different symptoms and diseases due to aging society. It is a quite big market. More than 30 to 53% of all patients have diabetic nephropathy, but a relevant treatment has not been developed and invented yet at the moment. So this is a market where we need to target very aggressively. So to share our clinical phase results, we have done it in Europe for both clinical phase 1 and 2. And we gave this medicine for about 12 weeks. And among the total 140 patients, there are 4 who dropped out. And at the end, there were 132 patients who got the medicine. And because we gave or selected patients with no exposure with other medicine or drug, we are going to provide and write a report within the second quarter of this year. And according to the result of clinical phase 2, it is my great honor to share with you this information today. So if you look at the primary endpoint of UACR mean change, UACR mean is a very important marker in diabetic nephropathy. You can see that our mechanism has improved 47% of the functionalities, and you can see that only patients with 40% of kidney functions and feature showed a meaningful statistics improvement of 47%. And moreover, when it comes to the compliance group, it's quite remarkable as well. Among all patients, statistically meaningful UACR improvement was 20%. From day 1 to day 484 until the end of the treatment period, there was a stable results and reduction that's shown for about 20%. And also, even with kidney feature that are with only 50% or less of functionalities, you can see that 30% of improvement was witnessed. So there was no case in the past where people with such a bad or poor kidney functionality to show a remarkable improvement as our results. So many are quite surprised. And furthermore, because we have great efficacy among significantly ill patients. But at the same time, what's remarkable is that there is no adverse effects that was observed during the clinical study. So you can see that the study confirmed the good safety profile of the product itself. There was no serious adverse effect. There's no any adverse effect that was observed. There was no clinically relevant findings in clinical examination. And so on top of the great efficacy that we have seen, safety is also guaranteed. And furthermore, for biomarkers, tracking is very, very important. During clinical phase 2, this is a process to prove the clinical process itself. And according to our biomarker analysis, KIM1, kidney injury molecule, and Q1, kibulin, are the two important biomarkers. And you can see that for KIM1, 38% of improvement was shown, and Kubulin change was also 50% better. So you can see that our key differentiator is that it's safe and it's effective among seriously ill patients, and biomarkers were successfully tracked as well to prove the point. And now, based on these great results from clinical phase 1 and 2, we have to look at market competitiveness of isozinaxib. I can say for sure that it is targeting a patient group with seriously ill symptoms and sufferings. It's showing great efficacy for those specific targets, and these differentiated patients are going to benefit from isozinaxib. That's the greatest benefit of this product. And uh, on top of this strength, we are safe, and compared to existing medicine, it is a new mechanism, so you can do dual and joint prescription of the different drugs as well. So we can work with AstraZeneca's dapagliflozin that's already released in the market. But as you can see, Bayer's finerenone, which is marked in dark and black over here, this is a very cautiously prescribed medicine, and canagliflozin is a diabetic treatment. But for patients with SGLT2 inhibitor, it's only for patients with mild symptoms and suffering. So isozinaxib is the only and the first medicine that can track and adjust NOx inhibitor with greater efficacy and greater safety, that's targeting severely decreased kidney function. So our target group is quite wide compared to other competition. So we are going to continue to go through the POC process after the clinical phases, and we're going to work on dose finding and phase 3 study so that we can launch our product as early as possible in the market. The development process is going to be further expedited. Development is important because we can share the risk, but launch is important. Launch is where you create much margin. So instead of waiting, we are now looking at how we can launch this product as early as possible and what differentiated position we are going to introduce in the market. And isozinaxib is utilizing strategies that are different from other competition, and the results are proving it too. So technological transfer is going to be considered, development strategies are going to be delivered so that we can not waste our time and then go to the market as fast as possible. So that is our goal. And next, I would like to share with you a COVID-19 treatment that is going through FDA clinical phase 2. it will adjust the level of NOx2 and will cut the move of virus through endosome. And as a result, it could cure long COVID impact as well. It could also cure um, lung problems that follow after COVID-19, such as inflammation or fibrosis. So it'll reduce endosomal ROS and will reduce virus replication and will also hamper the cause and the creation of inflammation. Because they can't come through, the duplication of the virus itself is going to be inhibited. As a result, mutants are less likely to be created and synergetic impact can be achieved. So in actuality, NOx2 is very, very important when it comes to treating COVID-19. This is actually posted on many different literature and papers. NOx-dependent signaling dysregulation in severe COVID-19 is already presented in many different papers and literature. So as a result, isoniazid is going to be a promising ingredient for COVID-19 treatments as well. So as a result, we started the clinical phase 1 in 2019. I believe that the result study is going to come out in 2023. Of course, it's difficult to recruit patients and respondents, but we are going to make this successful so that we can dominate the market. And because we have been focusing on long COVID, so we can successfully deal with side effects and symptoms that linger after COVID. That is going to be the approach from our company. And for another product, we are going to apply for clinical phase 2 at US FDA with APX115. I believe that clinical approval is going to come out soon, and because the period for prescription is quite short, the result is going to come out shorter and earlier as well. Next, we have a clinical phase 1 result for APTA16 for blood cancer treatment. That is going on, and as you all know, survival rate is quite low and unmet needs are quite high, and our medicine is going to overcome the existing unmet needs. 2021 we are going to get the approval, and this year we're going to actually carry out clinical studies as well. Now I'm going to go on to APX1004F. Of course, it has a lot of unmet needs. We need a new mechanism, and we also have to make sure that it doesn't affect and respond to existing medicine. And to overcome such unmet needs, we are going to use overall and general application. We got approval last year for clinical studies, and we will continue with the clinical studies in the coming year. So I have shared multiple pipelines so far. I think our key focus right now is that the result of diabetic retinopathy today. The reason why we were not able to share with you earlier is because this is the data in the final report, and it is definitely a confidential information. So please make sure that you're not sharing this with other people, and please understand that we can't really disclose this information with all the public due to some restraints under the guidelines of clinical study result report system. So thank you very much for giving this opportunity to share our outstanding performance. It was a promising result, and I believe that 압타바이오 is going to focus on new drug development and new drug pipeline expansion. We're going to work harder continuously so that we can value up our platform and company, and through this we will also pursue global licensing outs, and while making our products are out and launched in the market. And by working with partnerships, we will expand our area and business value so that as a company we would like to become a global leader. Please, I would like to ask for your support and interest. What's important is we're steadily growing, And in new drug development, you shouldn't stop until the launch in the market. That's when you make money. That's when you create values, and also will provide benefits to patients. And under this philosophy and approach, we're working, and I would like to ask for your continuous support. Thank you.